you see the concrete road. I'm reminded that these universities, they were built in the 60s, 1960s, and they were concrete and glass. The water is the glass, the concrete is the road. And I know it well, I dwell in it. It's the world, the concrete of the world. And you're analysing it, you've got a piece of the road out, you're looking at it from different directions in the dream I was. And understanding it and so on. But of course, if you think of it, the road's not necessary, is it? You're in water, you're in an environment that, well, it's underwater, it's not your natural environment anyway. It's not heaven, it's this world. And you're applying yourself in the concrete and glass. When your real being, of course, in the earlier dream of a few days back now, when I first started these recordings, this number, S1243, is it? But whatever, you're well above it, you see. You're actually elevated. It's not that what goes on in the water is of this world is not instructive, but it's not what you are in. You're in an eternity of being with a view from that eternity where you are. You're just preoccupied with analysing a film, a show, a fiction. It's the transitory. At university, you're dedicated to studying the transitory. In a cathedral, you're experiencing the being of the cathedral. It's been there for a few hundred years. The stone's been there for that long. And the people that made it, and what it meant to them. And you come back 400 years later and experience the cathedral. See, if you like, in early times, we'll say medieval for sake of analysis, you experienced monastic, cathedral-type life. Became schools, nobly caring for the people, I guess, and places of retreat for the monk, again, to learn holy things, dedicate his life. But the monastery became the university in the end, specialized in understanding instead of being. That's the cardinal mistake of our educational system. We are preoccupied with understanding, analysis, instead of being, which comes of knowing, being in, I came to university to be in it because I was taken with a view I had of university from studying Plato for hours in the reference library as a teenager. I wanted to go to university to experience it. I found my colleagues, my students there, didn't. They wanted to get out of it all the time. Friday afternoon, they go home. I didn't want to go home. I'd come to university because I wanted to be in university. This was my being. So I appeared to be a fanatical student. I was down there outside the library queuing for it to open in the morning, 10 to 9. Half the other students wouldn't, well, all the other students probably wouldn't surface until they had a lecture, which might not be until 1 in the afternoon. It's probably more like 10 o'clock, some at 9. Do you see? University wasn't what I thought it was going to be. This wonderful company of persons seeking truth. Philosophers. There's a bunch of technicians teaching others to be technicians. But I experienced the university in what it was historically, what its roots were historically. I could walk in the grounds. Lovely campus, good few acres. I don't know how many acres. Nicely kept, all for me. Hardly any other students seemed to be enjoying this. Oh, they'd go into it occasionally and play a game of croquet for fun. Lots of noise, as students do. But for the vast bulk of time, it was just an empty paradise to be in. And what happened with my dwelling in such place? Wow. Someone gave me a copy of Paramahansa's autobiography. And when I read it in ideal circumstances which God had set up, I'd stopped doing the masters and was waiting to do a nice job locally, a little job, work, as a trainee social worker. And I've accounted that elsewhere, haven't I? Came to realize I wanted God to exist in sheer joy and loveliness. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.